in the quiet at night, with my heart laid bare, something stirring inside, like a silent prayer. You gave me this flame, a purpose divine. Lord, help me remain in your design. Keep my lamp burning, oh, keep my lamp burning right, keep my lamp burning, oh, till I see your light, till I see your light. Every moment I breathe, every step that I take, all the truth I believe, all the choices I make, you fill me with grace, a vessel refined. Now I seek your face, lead down behind, keep my lamp burning, oh, keep my lamp burning.
Hey everybody, good to see you guys. Thank you for coming. I'm glad you could make it. We are joined by Roger and PJ Cruikshank. Hope you guys are doing well.
Oh,
I
good,
am.
sir.
How about
Oh,
yourself?
good.
Good. Thanks. Man, I'm stuffed. We went to celebrate for my birthday because my birthday's tomorrow, but we went to go take the children out to Panarotti's tonight for pizza. And we ended up getting pasta. Very nice.
Oh, yeah.
Some of had their pasta.
Pasta, very filling. But I always find with pasta, it's filling as heck, but half an hour later, you get hungry again.
Yeah, this was good. It was Alfredo pasta with fettuccine. Fettuccine for Alfredo pasta.
Nice.
And a milkshake, obviously.
Nice.
But it was good. It's good to see you guys. Good to see everybody in the YouTube lands. Please do hit the likes, share the show. Really appreciate you. And I want to say, DJ New Moon, welcome for becoming a member. Really appreciate you, man. Woohoo. Thank you very much.
Nice.
You guys are awesomeness. Appreciate everybody that supports this channel, by the way. I'm glad you guys are here. So, apparently we're too scared to review this video from Eric Dubay. The one we're looking at tonight.
Yeah.
He's calling
we
God a
read it first.
gaslighter, guys.
Yeah, I seen that. See that?
Yep.
I haven't seen the video, but there you go.
But I mean, how? Wow, what makes God a gaslighter? How can God be a gaslighter anyway?
How can God try and try and tell you that the situation, that reality is not what you see, not what you think reality is this. God made reality. I mean, how can he gaslight you into believing it's a different reality when he created this? Why would he do that when there's only this? You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense at all. It's kind of backwards.
Yeah, it's backwards. But I haven't watched this video, so we're gonna see what he says. And then we take it on there and see, because apparently his argument is that he's heard all the arguments we said already, free will and blah, all that stuff, which it just boils down to that. And apparently this is one of his responses to that argument. So we'll see what he can come up with and take it from there.
Can I just say, man?
Guys, ready to this. I just want to say, guys, tomorrow is my birthday, not today. We just celebrate it because I'm not going to have time tomorrow.
That would be great, man. It would have been good. We did a few years ago we did Michael's 4-hour, 40-minute stream, done your birthday before. We've done dress up for my birthday, dress up for yours. It was good. Can I just say, I can't believe I've been a member 30 months, man. It's that long.
Crazy.
Yeah,
That's
me too.
nuts.
Really appreciate it, man.
Nuts, man. Crazy. Oh, can I just say quickly that, yeah, I did change my channel name and I wasn't copying Flats, but because Flats changed his channel name, it did prompt me. I wanted to change it for ages to Angling for Truth, but I was too scared if I changed it that new subs coming in would start calling me Angling or Truthy or Angling for Truth. I wanted just to be called PJ. Then I thought I could just say it's PJ is Angling for Truth because then they'll see it's PJ at the start. So that's why it's changed. That's why it's changed. That's what it's changed. I'm not copying Flats. The trolls are going to say I am, but it did prompt me when Flats changed it.
Oh, come on. I'm your Papa Fluff, man.
Of course, that's what they're going to say, isn't it? That's exactly what they're going to say.
Wow. Also, Murphy being a member for 8 months. Thank you very much for being a King Roos for 8 months. Really appreciate it, man. You are awesome. Oh, yeah. So, Eric Dubay, let's see what he has to say.
Nice.
Gaslighting is a type of psychological
Is it loud
manipulation
enough?
in which an abuser
Yeah, I think
attempts
so.
to gain power and control over another by sowing seeds of self-doubt and confusion, deliberately and systematically feeding false information, intentionally.
Yeah, I think we already know what gaslighting is because we constantly get gaslit by anti-flat earthers. So,
I just don't understand how you can say God's gaslighting you. If God created all this, what is He trying to make you believe that is not about reality and creation? I mean, why would He try and gaslight you if He wants you to have faith in Him? It's stupid. It doesn't make sense. I mean, for us to gaslight each other, yes, makes perfect sense, But God, no.
Nah, I don't think so either. I don't see why you'd be gaslit by your creator. That doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
yeah, it's going to be interesting how he's going to try and portray God as a gaslighter.
Oh yeah.
But we'll see.
distorting reality and coercing the victim into constantly questioning themselves. The term originally derived from the 1944 film Gaslight, in which a woman's abusive husband slowly twists and shapes her reality until she believes she must be going insane. In many ways, this parallels the metaphysical plight of the human condition, the constant confusion, contradictions, and confounding nature of this realm. In most religions, including and especially the
I want to go
Abrahamic
back
this
quickly.
realm,
Am I being gaslit? Some signs you may indicate someone is gaslighting you. You doubt your own feelings and emotions. You always end up apologizing. You question whether your feelings and experiences are accurate, often feeling confused. You are afraid of expressing your real emotions. You often defend the gaslighting behavior. You are believing the negative things the gaslighter says about you. You feel alone, powerless, and passive. You lie to friends and family to protect the gaslighter. Just keep those in mind when we're going to go to watch the rest of his video where he calls God the gaslighter, because that means all Christians should be feeling this, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
God's gaslighting us.
Oh yeah.
So let's quickly ask, do you doubt your own feelings and emotions based on God gaslighting you, apparently?
No.
I've never seemed to have that problem.
No.
Do you always end up apologizing?
Nah, not at all.
Nah. Do you question whether your feelings and experiences are accurate?
Hold on. Hold on. Where's that one again? Read that again.
You question whether your feelings and experiences are accurate.
Do I question whether my feelings or experiences are accurate? No.
No, we trust that
No.
God says we have faith with everything He says. So
Absolutely.
don't see it. You often defend the gaslighter's behavior. What's there to defend? God is God. He can do what He wants. We don't need to defend Him. He doesn't need us to defend Him. Not a very good. So far, not very good for the argument for Eric Dubay so far, guys. So far, not showing God is a gaslighter, just to let you know. Okay. You are afraid of expressing your real emotions. Nope. very clear. We're more than happy to express emotions. Often feeling confused. No, that totally goes against Christianity. God is not a God of confusion. He is
If you're
really,
if you're getting confused in general, just about nothingness, then you need some prayer. Need some prayer.
yeah. You start believing in the negative things that Gaslighter says about you. First of all, God doesn't say negative things about people, does he? He says truth. He's a rightful judge. He's a loving
Exactly.
God.
Exactly. If God says that you're sinning, that's not him talking negatively about you. It's telling him. That's him telling you the truth. You're doing wrong. Yes, being wrong is negative, but that's not God being negative towards you. That's God telling you what is right and what is wrong, what is just.
It's a way of saying, hey, you're on a path of destruction.
Mhm.
Roll the change your ways. That's it. You feel alone, powerless, and passive. No, that goes against God's character. God doesn't let you feel alone. He wants to be with you. He always lets you know, even in your troubled times, He's with you. So that's totally wrong.
That's why the words the inspired word of God, read Psalms, read Proverbs, they all tell you He's down with you. That's what it's written down for. David wrote some amazing things. So did Solomon. So did Solomon.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel alone and God is with you, there's something wrong with you.
I 100% agree. Yeah.
That's right. There's something, there's a blockage between you and God, then, if that's the case. And that's not on God's side. That has got to be on your side.
Mm-hmm. And then the last one says you lie to your friends and family to protect the gaslighter. No, lying is against the ninth commandment, so you don't lie about anything. What's there to protect about God? Like I said, God can protect himself. He can defend himself, and God is not a liar. So,
This doesn't sound like getting gaslighted from God. This sounds like a domestic situation that's not good. You know what I mean? The domestic situations in the house or whatever. This doesn't sound like
yeah, this sounds like ordinary gaslighting, but that's what I
yes,
said. God
yes.
doesn't fall in the realm of being able to be a gaslighter because it goes
Exactly.
against his character. That's why in the beginning I said, how is God able to be a gaslighter? It's impossible. And we've
Possible.
already established that just based on how do you know you've been gaslit? Well,
Yeah.
every
So
single point about it shows no, God's not a gaslighter.
what is gaslighting? Trying to make someone believe a lie, that's something that's not true. Trying to make someone believe in a different reality. So
Yeah.
fundamentally, it's a lie. What does God not do and can't do? He can't
Hmm.
lie.
Lie.
So it's a bit odd.
I think I know where he's going with this. It's really self-centered, and it's like an outsider's look into the nature and world and stuff. He's going to blame God for everything that's bad right out the bat.
Yep. But that's what he did last video.
Yep.
And that's why I said this is just his response to that, though. So if this is just his response, then he can't just keep playing the blame game, because then he's actually gaslighting God or trying to. You won't be able to
Good luck.
gaslight God because God won't be able to have doubts. But yeah, let's see.
In most religions, including and especially the Abrahamic faiths, God is purported to be omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, wholly loving, benevolent, and perfect in every way.
Mm-hmm.
Yet at the same time, this God is the creator of all things, including Satan and every evil that exists.
Okay, we've explained this in the last video as well. Yes, God creates everything, but also he gives you a free will. So if he creates good, to have a free will to know something's good, you have to have the opposite. You have to have the antipodal of that. So God created Satan not as a bad being. He was a good being. Satan decided out of himself. By the way, he created Lucifer. He became Satan when he fell. Lucifer was one of the angels. He was one of the head beautiful angels. There was a cherubim. He was I can put it, one of the revered ones. He was the beautiful. He was the main guy, you can call him. But he became prideful in his heart, and he got ego, and he decided to say, hey, I can be equal with God, the one who created me. He chose to sin. He chose to equal himself with God. Okay?
Yeah.
That doesn't make God a gaslighter because he created Lucifer, who decided with his own free will to do evil.
That makes God fair because he gave him free will.
Exactly.
So that means there's a possibility, yes, that he would go wrong. 50. You know, he gave him free will.
Yeah, he gave him free will.
Choice. Yeah.
So, by retrospect, if God does, for instance, create everything, evil will be part of that because you have to have an antipodal of whatever something is. If there's light, there has to be antipodal of dark. If there's cold, there's an antipodal of warm or hot. So if good is a thing, evil has to be a thing. That's it.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty simple. Black and white, hot and cold.
Yeah, it's not called
Both extremes.
gaslighting. It's not still not called gaslighting. It's just
Every single negative, torturous, agonizing, infuriating, terrifying, tragic, disgusting, depraved, and downright evil thing in existence was created, condoned, and codified by this supposedly
Condone.
perfect.
He didn't condone it. No.
Sorry. That is a total outright lie, Eric Dubay. God opposes the evil.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
So that's totally... The one gaslighting here is Eric Dubay while attempting to gaslight. He's projecting his gaslighting onto God. And I also want to point out specifically, remember we said in the last video, Eric Dubay is actually intending, he's trying to say all deities, but you can clearly see he's attacking one specific God. Just like he just mentioned now, that would be the Christian God, guys.
Yep. Abraham, he didn't attack Buddha. He didn't attack Krishna. He didn't attack any of the Eastern religions, just Christianity. And
you see, the reason for this is because it almost feels like me saying, you know, when you see that meme of where it's usually with flat Earth, like the flat Earth says, show me on this doll where flat Earth hurt you.
That's right.
This is how I see it with now. Show me on this doll where God of the Christian Bible hurt you. So he's got a real hatred towards God for some odd reason.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
he doesn't really have any way of showing why he has that hatred.
makes sense. I don't know why he's got a hatred so much for the Christian God necessarily. Maybe he feels guilty at some point.
Let's put it this way. There's a specific reason why you have a lot of antichrists today. It's because God, Jesus, is the real God. They don't hate the other gods. There's no bad illness because the others don't exist.
Yeah, exactly. They don't exist, and they're false idols. But you never hear them whining about them. And like we always say, when someone swears, well, bad language, profanity, should I say? It's swearing's an oath. It's just how we talk. But profanity, people always use the Christian God's name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they say you have no free will is another video from Eric Dubay. Because we're going to probably go through this quite fast. We're going to have to look through that one as well tonight.
Well, the Bible says we're predestined, but it also says we have choice. So the both are true. Predestined, but we have free will within that predestination. It's simple. It's not hard.
Just because God knows the choices you're going to make doesn't mean we don't have free will. He didn't force you to make that choice. You made that choice. Him being a loving God and letting you give that free choice lets you do it even though he knows the outcome.
Exactly. Just because he knows what's going to happen doesn't mean to say he made that happen.
Exactly.
I think our faith or religion, if you want to call it that, actually has an out. It has a loving God that gave you a way out of it. You know, I don't know any other religion that has a Christ or a Messiah that died for you and paid a price so you can get right with him. You know, I don't see that in any other religion. Just works on the other side.
That's right, because the future doesn't exist yet. No, of course it doesn't.
Yeah, remember, God is timeless.
Exactly.
We are in a timed conception, you can say.
Yeah, I mean,
God itself is timeless.
Yeah, we speak about future and past and that, but there is no such thing. It hasn't happened and it's already gone. So there's always, like Sof says, there's always just the now, present, which you're in at the moment, every time, every instant is just
No,
now.
there's only the now.
Yeah, only the now.
Perfect creator. Every predator, parasite, and psychopath.
Look at this. See what I'm saying? The idea of Satan is really a silly concept. Think about it. God created his own enemy just to fight him. God doesn't fight Satan. There is no fighting.
No. I mean,
The battle is won. Jesus died on the cross. There is no fighting.
no. He's no opponent for God. He's not an opponent for God. That's not why God made him to be an opponent.
I mean, if you read Revelations, you already know the outcome for Satan and the demons. They've already got the outcome written down. Okay? There's no battle. It's foretold what's going to happen to them. And this is why Satan is trying his utmost best to drag as much Christians and other people down to go with him. What's up, Janusz?
Hello, everyone.
Good to
Hey,
see you.
Janusz. Good to see you, man. Hey, you snuck off last night without me saying thanks for being there, bro. Nice one, dude. It was good for you. Good that you were there last night, man.
Yeah, I said I was going to sleep, and then I was going to sleep. I check if Sof is streaming, and I joined Sof.
Me and Roger went to do that this morning after I finished. But when I finished, he just finished at the same time.
Man, I have awakened like I was staying up to 7 o'clock or something, half 7. I woke up like at 3 o'clock or whatever.
Yeah,
For fuck's sake.
Same as me.
Oh, I think
but it was good
God
streams
gave us.
yesterday.
It was. I was going to say God gave us a guidebook to show you how to live properly. That's the best love He could give is creation, right?
Yeah. What does Bible stand for again?
Basic instructions before leaving Earth.
There we go.
I think Eric needs to check himself.
Definitely.
Disease, death, and natural disaster. Every sickness, suffering, and sordid thing under the sun is sanctioned by this holy, loving, and benevolent God.
Again, like we said in the last video, all the things you just said are a result of sin in the world. Because sin becomes death. Death comes through sin. And because of the curse of sin, thanks to Adam and Eve's disobedience, unfortunately, the world itself is dying and everybody in it is succumbing to sin, entropy. We are born into sin. So, yeah, sickness and death and everything about it is a byproduct of that sin, which was based on free will, and the will that they chose was to sin. Wasn't God that forced it on them.
No.
Wasn't God that created this evil to say, oh, I'm going to let them do it. No. It's based on free will. If God didn't create good and evil, as you put it, there would be no such thing as free will. There would just be mindless, numbness robots with no purpose.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think he knew what he was doing for sure.
I mean, look at it this way. If you want to marry someone, okay, let's say you meet this awesome woman or something, and you want to marry her. Or for ladies, if you meet this husband. Do you want to marry him or her by forcing them to love you? or do you want to marry them by knowing they love you out of their own?
That, the latter.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's exactly, it's a love story. All this is just a love story. God created us with free will to love him because we want to love him, to be with him because we want to be with him.
Yeah,
That's
and
it.
exactly. God created us to share His love with someone. That's as well the purpose.
Yeah.
So far, I've called this video right on the tee. He did exactly what he did last time, didn't he?
This is so far not really a response. It's
No.
the same thing.
It's lump. It's whining. It's whining about God. Just whining about God again.
It's his attempt at gaslighting God and then saying God's the gaslighter. So he's literally projecting gaslighting.
But he's based. That's what I'm saying. He's whining about God. He's whining about what this Christian God does and all that. But if he doesn't believe in him, why is he whining about him? You know?
Exactly.
How can such a clear contradiction not raise constant suspicion in believers? Arthur Schopenhauer said, "There are two things which make it impossible to believe that this world is the successful work of an all-wise, all-good, and at the same time all-powerful
New
being.
Age shit.
Firstly, the misery
He's just spilling again New Age shit, New Age crap.
Yeah.
He read too many books, you know, and that's as I stand still on my point. He read those books. Those books influenced him, and unfortunately, loads of them they are created by the New Age, and even before that, Luciferianism. So they influenced him, and now he's sharing his observation. They are not his. He was influenced by those books.
Yes, definitely influenced by the books. But also, if I'm looking at this Charles Timmerman statement on the Bible says that the Lord thy God is a jealous God. But if you are omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent, eternal and creator that of all that exists, of whom could you possibly be jealous? Easy. God is a jealous God. In other words, he created you for a purpose and he wants to spend eternity with you. He's jealous in knowing that you choose not to be with him. In other words, people choose to be Satanists. People choose to be Buddhists. People choose to be Islamists. People choose to be apart from God.
Right.
Understand? So he's jealous about that because he created you for a purpose, and that means he's a jealous God. Because you're not, how can I say, you're choosing someone else over God. Remember, God says you can't have more than one master.
That's right.
Yes, he does.
Can't serve money. Can't serve God and mammon. That type of thing. That's two masters, isn't it? Can't serve money and serve God at the same time. If money's your God.
Imagine, Deborah, you are the mother, and you have husband, but the child is more attracted to your husband. Wouldn't be kind of a bit of jealous? That's why it's not you. Just think about it.
I think he's jealous because he cares about his creation, and we're the biggest part of it.
Yes,
Correct?
the same as mother would care about his child, her child. Sorry.
Yeah, that makes sense. Good analogy.
In other words, it's a righteous jealous. It's not
It is.
an evil jealous. It's not a lustful jealous. You understand?
No. It's just, yeah, I mean,
You get different type of jealousy, people.
Yeah, I mean, when God says he's a jealous God, I mean, he's talking in certain scripture, in where was it? In in Exodus somewhere, can't remember. Yeah, it's just showing about how serious it is that to how bad it is to worship false idols. He shouldn't be doing that. Look, I'm your God. You know what I mean? Don't be worshiping them. Worship me. You know what I mean? So, because I am the God, they're false. They will do you no good. You know, I don't think God is going about with a heart that's jealous. So, oh, wow.
Yeah, let me put it this way: righteous
It's not
jealousy.
envious. It's not envious jealousy. It's not an envious.
Yeah. There's two different ones. Righteous jealousy or godly jealousy is a healthy desire to protect what is rightfully one's own, like a husband protecting his wife or God protecting his people. Lustful jealousy, on the other hand, is a selfish desire for what belongs to another, driven by envy and lack of contentment.
Yeah.
That's the difference. And I think these people don't know the difference between this, and that's why he's made this statement on screen.
Which abounds in it everywhere. And secondly, the obvious imperfection of its highest product, man, who is a burlesque of what he should be. These things cannot be reconciled with any such belief. If you ask them, they tend to respond that Satan and man are to blame for all the evils of this world.
God doesn't allow evil. He, what can I say? There's a certain word. You know, when how can I, let's say when you know your child's doing something and it can get hurt and you've warned, and then you say, okay, then well, they have to feel. You know, they have to go through it and they have to feel if they don't want to listen. That's what God does. He doesn't allow the evil. You've been warned about it. It's continuously telling you don't do this, but you still choose to do it. Remember, he's given you a free will. So he has to still support you and your decisions. So because he loves you so much, he lets you do the evil you do. And he still gives you an opportunity to come back and make right from those wrongs.
He's very tolerant, yeah.
So remember, when God, what happens is, if you ask for forgiveness, what does God do?
Forgives you.
He forgives you. There we go. So did he allow you to do anything? No. He's there for you, and he's just, I'm trying to think of the right word. There's a word specifically for it. I can't think of it in my head right now. Hey, what's up, Sov? Good to see you.
Hey, Sovenews.
Hey, Saddam.
What's going on, guys?
No, not much.
Good to see you, man. So did you hear somehow God is a gaslighter, even though it goes against everything God stands
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, mad, isn't it? I mean, God can't lie, but yet gaslighting. What is gaslighting? It's getting someone to believe a lie.
Straight up lying, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're all familiar with gaslighting, what it is. We get that all the time. That's, in fact, that whole bullshit of the Earth being a globe is a gaslight. You know, this is what's so funny is that every time they say, "Oh, you're denying 2,300 years of science," they always have 2,500 years, 2,000 years, 5,000. They always just make this shit up, and I'm like, that's really funny because, you know, the scientific method isn't really that old. So I'd like to know what kind of 2,300-year-old science was actually taking place. They can never tell you. And anytime you bring science into the discussion, they run and scream and say, "Oh, you just don't believe stuff." And it's like, well, you got to have scientific proof for it, you know, and it's placed under the scientific method. It falls right apart.
Science
No.
shouldn't be based on the beliefs, should be based on
No.
knowledge and experiments.
It's like a guy I had on my show. I asked him that same question that I like to ask. If you'd never been told the Earth was a globe, what observation or experience would even lead you in the direction of thinking such a thing? And this guy jumped right to, "Well, I did the Eratosthenes thing." And I said, "Well, that only works if you assume a globe in the first place. Why were you doing the Eratosthenes thing? Why? What were
But
you
that's
trying
the
to
thing.
do?"
Even the Aristophanes angles works with the local sun.
But
Or
that's
divergent rays. It gives exactly the same outcome.
yeah.
That's why I said it's not proof of anything either way. But the most important aspect of that is, why were you doing the experiment or the observation in the first place?
You didn't ask him that. You didn't
I
ask
did.
him that. No, but I'm
Yeah.
saying your question was what would make you think?
Right.
If you just stepped it, what would make you think you were on a spinning ball? If you just
Yep.
came from nowhere, plunked on here in a house, you walk out your door and see that the sky is moving. You know what I mean? The stars are moving. You know what I mean? Why would you think you're on a bloody ball, a spinning ball?
Right. You just walk out there, you say, well, and they always jump to sunsets, sunrise. And I'm like, all right, let me get this straight. You're walking along and you see a sunset, and then you go, I've been watching the sunset, and for some reason that makes me think that I must be on a ball. Nobody would ever go to that. No one.
I just want to shout out Alja. I missed your super sticker, man. Really sorry, I missed it. Thank you for $2 super sticker. It just says cool with a bird. Woohoo! Thank you for the super sticker. You're welcome.
Forgot all about it. Hey, Sam, do you have personal incredulity towards certain?
Yes. Well, you're allowed to have personal incredulity when someone postulizes something that's freaking impossible. Like, for instance, you'd be well within your right to go, nuh-uh, if I said, did you know that I can spontaneously turn into a grizzly bear at will? Prove that I can't.
Yeah, you have to prove the negative. It's like
No, that's nonsense. Their whole thing is based on nonsense and fallacy.
But that's exactly how the Globies operate, though. Whenever they want to argue something, like let's take gas pressure without containment, it's exactly the same thing. We say, well, based on natural law, we require containment to have the gas pressure. You guys claim there is no there is no containment. So what they do is they say, well, what's the container made out of? That's not our problem. It's your problem. You claiming something goes against natural law. So why must we prove the negative because you want to go and tell us that something exists out of natural law?
Right. Always reply with the answer to the question. So they're pushing that you have to provide the answer. No.
Well, when they ask when they ask what's it made of, where is it, Nat? I said, so you admit that there must be physical containment then, right? Okay. Otherwise, you wouldn't ask that question. I mean, that's just a given. They don't understand that that a level plane with, of course, we have topography. That is the default. That is the observation. Nobody's gotten up and go, whoa, look at that globe Earth I stand on. Nobody's done that. Nobody's ever gone along and said, hey, I saw this sunset, and so therefore I think I must be on a ball. That's dumbest shit I ever heard. That'd be like just the same as seeing a car go away from you and go, oh, well, I can't see it anymore. And since I have superhuman vision, it must be that I'm on a ball or something. It's like nobody would ever think that dumb shit, ever.
It's dumb. No, it is. It's stupid.
Ridiculous.
It's the same as expecting, for instance, Neo in the Matrix to know he's in the Matrix without him telling him he's in the Matrix.
Mm-hmm. This thing here, why would God allow evil? Wait a second. You allowed evil. God didn't allow evil. You were given free will. You allowed evil. You embraced evil. Adam and Eve embraced it when they defied God in the first place. You say, oh, okay, so that's what you want to do? Go ahead. Have fun with it. Exactly. I mean, I don't know why people allow that. Like they think it's some kind of a safety cushion that's going to be, look, you're a victim of your own consequences.
But that's the thing. This whole thing that he's got on screen now, why would God allow evil, to me is so ignorant. It's such an ignorant statement. It's not. It reminds me of the wokies today. Yeah. But literally, it's your fault. It's your fault that I don't feel like a man. It's your fault because you call me something I don't feel like.
It's narcissism.
It's
narcissism.
Another stupid question is why God allows for the devil, the Satan, the Lucifer to exist. I was like, look, the answer is very simple. Imagine you are the father or you're the mother and your child unlived someone. Would you unlive your child as well? You wouldn't. That's a very minuscule percent when it happens. But the thing is that the God's love is thousands and probably millions times bigger than ours. So he wouldn't kill his own creation.
Yeah, I see information agents on Mikey Smith's channel right now. That guy, he's not welcome. Yeah, so information agent is a guy that you guys should stay away from. Yeah, he's one of those obsessed trolls who just. He's one of those guys that hack to get into people's links.
Who was that? Sorry, I missed that.
Information agent.
Information.
Oh, for goodness! I know.
So
I mean,
Mike, wait, but I mean, why I'm saying this now is because is Mikey allowing him to be deceitful, or is Mikey just letting him do what he does?
what is he in Mikey's chat?
No, he's on his channel. I saw
He's
now when
on
I
his
went to.
channel. Oh, for
He's
God's
talking
sake.
to him.
No, forget that, man.
I tell C Lightning to kick him out. Hold on.
No, but my point is
Yeah, I get it.
Mikey Smith allowing him to be deceptive, or is Mikey Smith just letting him do his own will?
He's letting them do his own will. That's Mikey's. not
So
responsible.
Mike, it's not Mikey Smith's. It's not Mikey Smith's problem
No.
if misinformation agent is deceiving people, correct?
Mm.
Because
Correct.
it's misinformation's agent to deceive.
Exactly.
And this is exactly the same as what we're getting here.
Mm-hmm.
It's God allowing evil because people do evil. No. It's not your fault if someone goes and steals money at a bank. What do you have to do with it? Just because the guy did it, it's your fault?
Right.
Nah. Come on. It's insanity. Okay.
And that the good God only allows evil in the name of freedom. In other words, when you start questioning the abundant abuses and unnecessary evils of this world, God suddenly becomes the great allower rather than the supreme creator. In short, they have been gaslighted into accepting that God simply allows evil, rather than the truth that he created, maintains, and sustains evil.
So Lucifer didn't have free will. Lucifer's on puppet strings, is he? So God's telling him exactly what to do. So why does the devil have to ask God's permission for certain things?
He doesn't.
No, that's it.
That
He's
was the
saying
case.
he's saying Satan doesn't exist. He's saying
Oh, okay.
using him as the scapegoat.
Okay.
In other words, he's
God and
saying
Satan are the
he
same.
is the one being evil and causing this. He's just using Satan as the scapegoat.
Yeah.
New Age
Eric
again.
Dubay.
This is an easy trap people get led into too, is by using Satan as a name and not a title.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, of Shaitan.
Because he's Lucifer.
Yes. Who was what was his name before he was cast down? He had
Lucifer became
Lucifer
Satan.
once he got cast down. But we were looking into that the other night. It was
Yeah, it was Lucifer when he got cast down. He became Satan.
right. Well, he was given the moniker.
Because it's just a new title.
Prior
it's just a new
to
title.
that, he was oh Christ! It's the same. It's almost the
Samuel.
same as one of the prophets.
Samuel, right?
No. Samael
Samuel.
was his name prior to being cast out of heaven,
Mhm.
and then it was Lucifer, and that's the
Yeah.
same. It's the same story as
It's the
Prometheus.
title. Yeah, it is actually. But these guys get sucked into the same nonsense thinking, they're falling. Let's put it this way: they're actually falling for Satan's trap. What is the best offense? Is a best defense. Is a good defense. So if people don't believe that Satan exists,
That's right.
what's going to be his best offense? I can do what I want because they're not going to blame me because I don't exist. Remember?
Right.
So even in the serial, in the film, Lucifer, the god, when it comes to Earth, calls Lucifer Samuel. So yeah, that's the
Samuel.
proper name. Samael.
Yeah, like a PJ stream last night. Remember the football game? People are willing to go do that, believing Satan isn't real for the most part.
Yeah, that's it. You know, I mean, even if they didn't, because it was about a team called the Red Devils, and they've all got they had
Manchester United.
No. This was a German team.
Oh, okay.
German club. But they in the stadium. They all had a pentagram come up. It got paper and it made it look artistic. A pentagram came up. Then they had Lucifer. It turned the paper again. It was Lucifer rising, of thing. And in Latin, it said something like I can't remember the Latin, but in Latin,
Lucifer arise from the
yeah,
abyss,
for
and
Lucifer rise
our
from the
souls.
abyss. Yeah, and accept our souls.
Yes.
We give you our souls, sort of thing. You know what I mean?
What?
Something like
Yep.
that. It was a bit more lengthy in that, but that was the basic meaning of it. Yeah.
In Latin, let
Yes,
alone if it's a real chant.
Sandra found the meaning for it straight away.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
Like-
and they think that's and some people doing that knowing. You know what I mean? It's a ritual in a football ground. When it used to be a Sunday football used to be a Sunday kickabout. You go there with the family. It was all good. It was a good thing. And now what it's turned into is awful. It's absolutely awful.
yeah. But I mean, why do you think I don't watch sports anymore? Because it is plainly out in your face. It's become very satanic.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the Super Bowl, for instance. Okay.
Mm.
Show me one Super Bowl opening or anything that hasn't been based on occultic satanic rituals.
The same with the Olympics too. Remember that? Like, jeez.
That's right. But even the people
Very in
who
your
take
face.
part in it, who don't know the evils of it, you know, and they think it's good to show that it's not. I mean, even if you don't believe in it, I mean, what it represents is bad. You know, you think you're doing something harmless, but it's not.
Yeah, but that's what I said.
As
That's why Satan's being so happy about everything, because they think he doesn't exist.
Mhm.
So he can get away with it because Satan doesn't exist. So who are you going to blame? Oh, the guy who's not actually faulted is the loving God, because now you're deciding to gaslight the wrong guy you're claiming to be gaslighting you.
Flats.
The biggest tell is during the opening, for example, events like a Gotthard tunnel, something like that. You know, the big events. There is always so much occult. It's just spilling from the screen.
Right. Sandra's put it up, said again. It's the sentence was Heroes Lucifer, I think it was Heroes O Lucifer, rise from the abyss and accept our souls.
CERN as well. When you look at the CERN in front, it's a shape of hexagon 6. So it's a tell as well. And you have statue of Shiva, which symbolizes in the Indian mythology. They believe their fate. It's a god of destruction. That's exactly Lucifer. I think it's a different god. No, it's all the same, just different depiction of the same entity.
Hey, Flats, 4Jacks gave 4 memberships.
What? Thank you, 4Jacks. I really, really appreciate the memberships. There we go. Thank you very, very much. Sorry, I'm building Legos here. I'm trying to put it all together because I'm so tired of seeing all these Lego blocks spread everywhere, standing on them all the time. So
Oh my
I'm just
God.
put them together for my children.
Yes, so if you pick them up, sorry.
Nothing hurts worse than stepping on one of those things barefoot in the middle of the night. Trust
Yeah.
me.
That are a plug.
God, those things are
So
hateful.
now you can imagine tortures when they were hitting you in back of your foot. Man, that must be really painful. If you compare it to the stepping on the piece of Lego to get a proper hit in your foot.
But yeah, I want to say thank you again, 4Jacks, for your memberships. Really appreciate it, man. Okay, let's go on to see what Mr. Dubay has to say.
In the face of every evil, every atrocity and tragedy, rather than being omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent, this God suddenly becomes impotent, aloof, and invisible. But God is by definition omnipotent, meaning all-powerful, and must be, otherwise would have to be redefined as a demigod. Therefore, this Abrahamic creator is either a gaslighter or a demigod, and cannot...
So in other words, the only options he gives is gaslighting, which we just showed is impossible. And now demigod. Do you know what a demigod is, Eric Dubay? Is God human, guys?
No.
So how's he a demigod?
He's not.
Demigod is half human.
Yeah. So impossible. He can't be a demigod because he's not human.
That's it.
So
Because
what
Eric
does
Dubay
that?
is the gaslighter.
Yeah. So what does that leave? Oh, maybe he's just God, and you don't like the fact that God goes against your own selfish, self-righteous, self-wanting, and lustful behaviors.
And what did he call him? God, aloof, which is like
He did.
just like
He did.
not forthcoming or not friendly, something like that, isn't it? I mean, come on.
I think Eric has a problem with Christ himself. I think he doesn't want to
He's an
follow the
antichrist.
rules neither. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing
I-
is,
Yeah, I'm
remember,
gonna
if
ask-
you're a lover of self, you're not gonna have respect and love Jesus. You're not gonna love God because He specifically, to be a lover of God means you have to die of oneself. And if someone wants to love their own lustful desires, they're going to hate God.
That's right.
It's as simple as that.
I just wanted to know where he got this picture. It's cool. I like the
Probably
guy
AI
painted
generated.
light.
AI, that'll be AI.
That doesn't paint God in a bad light at all, does it? No.
Well, I mean, I don't know why God would wear a hoodie, but you know.
Besides that, I mean, I don't care what he's wearing, man. Come on.
Let's get real about this too, right? If you were God and you were going to be in human form like that, why would you choose? And let's face it, it is a choice to appear as an old man with gray beard and all that shit.
Yeah.
Why would you choose that? Why wouldn't you choose to be like a ripped 25-year-old?
There we go. With a nice six
And
pack,
Adonis, yeah.
big biceps.
Right. No, you're going to choose to be like an old monk from a cave.
Decrepit, arthritic, yeah.
God.
I think people choose it, to depict God like that because with the beard and the wrinkles comes wisdom. So maybe that's why they depicting, Maybe that's the case.
I know if I was God, I sure wouldn't do that. I couldn't be trusted with those powers. I just couldn't because I'm a jokester. Like if I was Jesus, I would have waited to turn the water into wine until after everybody drank it and then watch them all fall all over the place.
They're all drunk after they- Yeah, that's a good one.
There you go. Go ahead and drink a couple gallons of that water. Hang tight. Yeah, turn that shit into Jack Daniels and watch you fall all over the place.
Oh, it was funny.
But the strange thing
Not
is that
be
we
the
really
true
don't
tradition.
know what really happened between the years of Christ was on earth. We have some information when he was young, very young, and later when he's 30, 32, 33. Nothing between.
Yes, 18, 12 to 30. His ministry started about 30. He did a 3-year
about
ministry.
30, yeah.
So you see him from 12. He's missing from 12 to 30.
Yeah. Span of years.
Mhm.
We have no knowledge about this time.
And I'll tell you
But
what,
that's
probably
why you
growing
get-
up. And listen, I know he's the Messiah, he's and all that, but I can guarantee you he exhibited the same things as a child would exhibit growing up any other time.
100%.
I'm saying that I'm sure that as a child, even Jesus got his ass beat once in a while for
The Bible actually talks about the salt when Mary and Joseph was looking for him. He was about 13 years old, and they couldn't find him. And later on, they found him at the temple, busy preaching to all the Sadducees and Pharisees. And they kind of scold him, like, "What are you doing? How can you just disappear like that?"
There you go.
I'm sure they did worse than that to him. It probably
Oh, they
banned
probably
him at home.
whipped his ass. It's like, you don't do that again.
Jesus, I told you to be home when the street lights come on.
Well, you
Yeah,
gotta
but he
admit
was still a child growing up.
Yep.
that's an
Like 13.
exhibition of love, man. It is, isn't it? Your parents loved you, then did that.
Yeah, of course.
Your parents, yeah.
I'm cracking up here. I've got this crazy guy on Facebook and shit. And I asked him that same question, right? I said, if nobody had ever told you that you lived on a spear, I said, what would make you think that? And well, of course, he jumped right to a sunset. I said, okay, so wait a minute. I said, you never heard of a globe and you see a sunset. And then you go, hey, I watched that sunset and I think that the ground that I'm on is actually a sphere. That really that happened? And he said, well, that's the simplest explanation.
Oh, you would think that that sun is going around you.
Oh,
You would think.
goodness, simplest
Oh.
That's
explanation.
the simplest explanation. I mean, the simplest explanation would be, I wonder where that thing lands at.
Yes.
You know, it seems to be going down in the sky, but that's kind of silly because I see birds go fly over me and they seem like they get lower in the sky, but they really don't. So, that's just sillier and shit. That's
I
what
mean-
the rational mind would do.
Of course.
Yeah, think about what would be more the most basic rock based on Occam's razor. I see the sun going away from me,
Yeah.
or I think I'm on a spinning statistical spinning with a sun around that side and hoping I'm in orbit. No, you're not going to come to that conclusion. There's no.
No.
You literally have to try everything in the book to try get away from what you just observed.
So even with this question, you expose this guy that he does not possess critical thinking.
No,
Uh-huh.
none of them do.
No,
None of them do. That's
deep,
what's so sad.
deep programming did the job, and that now they can't see things from other perspective. Even if you try to explain to them, from our perspective, they can't grasp the idea, not at all, because programming did the job is rooted too deep into them. You can't get rid of it easily. They have to do their own work. They have to research on their own, because no amount of evidence will convince an idiot. It's impossible.
I agree. But it shows you they just follow whatever they've been taught. That's it. They just follow whatever they've been taught. And I just want to point out to every globe believer out there, your heliocentric belief system was supposedly, because those people don't even have documentation to show they've existed, was started by a sphere ball believing cult who believed the gods only create perfect shapes, and therefore sphere is a perfect shape, so the earth has to be a perfect shape. It was a cult.
Yep. What is their main objective? They claim that the sun is the source of all life instead of God.
Mm-hmm.
That's another deception. That's how they use
Yeah,
it.
they're making
They
the
do.
creation God.
Yes.
How about their gods in this scenario with good and evil? Where are their gods at? Are they changing the world, making it good? No, they're not. They're just deceiving people to what the world is they live in.
Well, I'll
That's
show you
worse.
something. I picked this up the other day. This little level right here. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's got one goes one way and the other one goes the other
All right,
way.
let me make you bigger quickly.
I got one just like that.
Okay.
Ah, yeah.
Okay, and
That's
so what that is like you can put this on a washing machine or a stove top or whatever, and you can get it your X and your Y. You can get all of that perfectly level so that the surface of it is level, not just a board or a wall or something, the entire surface. Now, if I level this on a stove over here in one part of my room, and I get it perfectly level, according to the globe, where that's setting at is a tangent point. Now, a point is just a point. A point does not have area. A point does not have length. A point doesn't have anything other than being a point. So if I put this on the stove over here and I get it perfectly level, if I slide it over to another portion of the stove top, it's going to remain at the same indication that it was level.
Yeah.
Now, I go over here and I've got another stove and it's 8 feet away. 8 feet away. And I put this little device on there and I level it perfect so that the surface is level. Now that's the whole surface. So that means that this tangent point that they speak of has to be at least as big as the stove top itself.
Yeah.
We just pointed out that a point has no dimensions.
That's right.
Okay, it's just a point. Now, I got this stove over here is level. This stove over here is level. They're the same height. and I take an 8-foot long level and I put it on both of the stoves. And I look at the center bubble. Now that tangent point is the level point?
The whole thing is, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so. It's contradictory.
It's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. So I don't know where they come up with it. I thought when I picked that up, I says, well, I need one of these, and I'm also going to use that for an explanation.
That's quite good. That's really good. That little device there, man. Just putting that spirit level that way, perpendicular to it like a T.
Yep.
That's good. No, that's really good little tool.
And it's showing this desk that I have on my computer on is perfectly level. I didn't expect that.
I mean,
It's perpendicular to plumb, right? Yeah.
Obviously, you get it in a normal spirit level. You know what I mean? But you have to move about the spirit level. That little thing, it's there. Just do it like that, you know.
You just put it, yeah, that thing's handy as hell too, because you know how irritating it is to break an egg into the frying pan and it rolls over to one edge of the pan.
Yep, I do quite well.
Yeah. So I've been having that problem with my stovetop here, and it's built into the counter. So we were looking at it yesterday, and I put the level on there, and I was like, oh, the front of this thing's got to come up a little bit. So I just grabbed the counter and put some pressure on it. I was able to lift it up about that much right there and put it right to level. So I'm going to go downstairs here after the show, and I'm going to grab a couple of shims, and I'll just run them up under the counter right there and then break them off. Everything's going to be hunky-dory. It'll be level again.
And you can make eggs. Yeah.
Don't you find it odd that level is always to the same vertical?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like it's based on a horizontal.
Weird guys.
Don't you find that odd? So not curving.
Listen, I deal with this shit so much that I've got not only this, I've got another one similar to it that's just a round circle that you put the bubble into the middle of the middle circle. And
I
that's
got one of those
indicates
too.
level. I've got one that's about that long, little torpedo level. I've got a 2-foot level. I got a 4-foot level. I got an 8-foot level.
Wow.
I mean, I deal with that measurement all the time. All the time. And I know damn well it's not a tangent point.
Exactly.
Tangent point doesn't have any dimensions to it. It's just theoretical.
Your spirit level would be like a seesaw then, wouldn't it, if it did?
Yeah. Flats is making the Tower of Babel over there out of Legos, though.
Yeah. Nice.
I haven't built Lego in years. Now I know why McToon does it so much. Only difference is I don't need to build a NASA dildo all the time.
Listen, this is what's so crazy. These stupid globetards are like going with some of those little AI toys like that. They're going, oh, look, the flirts are playing with toys. And I'm like,
Oh my goodness.
like, oh my God. I mean, like Legos.
How many streams do we have to show that that's what they stream, them building Lego sets and playing with toys?
Yes, Simon Dan's got a literal moon landing set he built, out of Legos.
All I'm doing is just putting all the blocks together so I don't step on the damn stuff.
That's for the kids.
But I was like, wait a second, you're gonna try to make be disparaging, going, oh, look, the flirts are playing with toys with these little dolls and shit like that. And it's like, you've never watched every one of these fucking idiots goes up there and tries to build rocket ships and stuff. And why do they get so sexually aroused as they're building the rocket? I just want to know.
I mean, the people get very excited when they see like someone building some NASA Lego set. It's like, what the hell is wrong with you people?
Oh my God. They're children.
No. That's the wrong question. What is correct about them, not what is wrong.
Now, the only thing I get from them when I go into any of the chats and I bump into McToon or anybody, they just tell me I need to apologize for what. Something about a bicycle.
Oh, Sean, they're still on that. Okay.
Yep.
Just to let everybody know, that was some misrepresentation of everything, and we move on with life. If they don't want to accept it, remember, they're the ones pushing this nonsense, if you haven't realized it. No one else is. What does that say?
They have a content.
Yeah.
Yep, they need content.
So let's move on with Eric Dubay.
Monotheistic capital G God. First, the Abrahamic God gaslights believers into thinking Satan is some uncontrollable separate entity responsible for all negativity and evil in the
Again,
world.
free will.
Same
Okay.
thing, dude.
Yeah, we've kind of answered this many times, and
The shaitan is the negativity of the world. The shaitan is the evil of the world. What is it not understand? Why are you trying to place human characteristics on this stuff? You see,
But you see, he's literally fallen into the trap. Satan doesn't exist.
okay.
He kind of sounds like a globy, doesn't he?
Has anybody told Satan this yet? Anybody? Hey, you don't exist. No, nobody's successfully done that.
There we go. All the blocks together. Okay. Yeah. I'm not going to stand on it.
Flat the builder.
Did you know, Flatzoid, if you take those all apart and just randomly throw them on the ground, eventually, one of the times that you throw all the blocks onto the ground,
All coalesce together.
they're all going to come together and they'll make a Star Wars character. That's what'll happen.
Yeah. Because gravity's a thing, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just let the gravity of the blocks pull themselves together and form into a race car. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what happened.
Yes,
Took-
without
you took
without the builder, you know.
You took a grenade into a scrapyard, and that's what you get out of Rolls Royce. Wonderful.
They're gassed up and waxed and ready to hit the road. Keys are in the ignition, baby.
I also want to point out, Eric Dubay said Satan is uncontrollable. That's not true. Satan can control him if he wanted to.
Wow.
But again, God is a just God. He lets Satan have free will to do what he does because he's going to pay for it at the end. Remember, he has to be judged upon his free will choices. If God wanted to, he could control Satan. But that would go against God's character. That would go against God's righteous morals. So in other words, Eric Dubay is kind of talking like a communist.
Yeah.
I want to reply to Deborah. Deborah, Lucifer is the most beautiful, the most intelligent creation after God in everywhere. So Satan, Lucifer, and Beelzebub. That's my perception. There are three parts of the devil. Devil has been split by God as a punishment because he transgressed against him. That's why we have Satan, we have Lucifer, and we have Beelzebub. That's why I always like to bring Holy Trinity versus Unholy Trinity. Yin and Yang, good and bad, warm and hot, and so on and so forth. Man and woman, oppositions. So that's how God built this world. Everything has a plus or minus, warm or hot. Yeah.
That's why so many people with the yin and yang understanding. It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
In reality, however, since God is by
Oh, and I just
definition...
want to point out, after seeing that AF image of Satan looking so ugly, you do know that Lucifer was one of the most beautiful angels.
Yeah.
And he can shapeshift. So just because you are picturing him now as this evil-looking thing doesn't specifically make him look like that. That's just a picture shown to you. That's why a lot of people get visited by demons and they think it's a beautiful angel because,
the deceivers.
Yeah, let's for instance take Muhammad when Gabriel visited him. Okay,
Supposedly, but it wasn't Jibril.
Supposedly, exactly. Do you think he would interact with him if he looked like that, or if he looked like a magnificent being?
Mm-hmm.
But still, he was fighting with him. That's why he was scared of him, because this entity put him 3 times on the ground because Muhammad refused to read because he couldn't read.
Supposedly. Yeah, he was exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Think
mean
they
the
own
Bible
Quran.
also talks about angels being worshipped, and then they tell them, "Please don't worship me. I'm just an angel. I'm just a messenger sent." So yeah,
And mainly, angel means messenger, not like a depiction. People always see them like a beautiful creatures. No, angel means messenger. Can be good messenger or bad messenger. That's like a good angel from God or bad angel, fallen angel.
exactly.
No, I've just looked on your
Omnip-
Sorry, perhaps I was just saying. I just looked on your Ko-fi thing, and the first thing I see is a message Luca put up about, you know what? F you, PG. I made one mistake. I used a word in a way that wasn't appropriate, and the second I realised that, I owned it. I apologise, explained myself, and still tried to show you respect. But that wasn't enough for you. It isn't, or whatever. And I've never seen that message. It's the first time I've ever looked on your Ko-fi thing.
Well, thank you for the Kofi support, Luca. I really appreciate it. Appreciate all my Kofi supporters, or I haven't had anyone. Luca's the only one so far. But appreciate you all, the Patreon supporters, and everybody that does support this channel.
You won't be
You
able
guys
to
are
sleep
really
flat because you will have too much caffeine in your body.
Thanks, Luca.
Oh God.
I have to point out.
I've just unblocked him as well.
I have to point out though, guys, that last night's stream after I went to bed, well, this morning, the Enoch thing, it's still bothering me though. Some of the things in what we were speaking about and looking through.
I'm not chucking it. I'm not
So
chucking it.
no, I'm not chucking it. I'm definitely not chucking. That's what I'm saying. I still believe some of it is definitely godly inspired,
Yeah.
but there is things in there that are like
Yeah. Are they
in
interpreted?
red flags to me. But I wouldn't say it's satanic though.
No.
No,
Like
that's
the four
the
angels. Yeah.
I am praying about it, and I'll take it further from there and do more research on it. But yeah, if anybody thinks, "Oh, just throwing the Book of Enoch away," don't think that. I'm not saying that. I never thought that. I'm
Look.
just saying there's some things there that kind of make you wonder about things.
Of course.
Yes,
You got to
because
investigate it.
Satan has to bring just doubts. That's enough.
Mhm.
You start doubting. It's accuser.
Mhm.
Doesn't need to provide evidence. He just need to accuse. That's it. And I think that's why I can justify my position on the book, because I think there were interjection to make it like it's not from God. So there were some additions, and then people start doubting that, and they reject all of it, not just the passages who could be interjected.
omnipotent, all-powerful, omniscient, all-knowing, and omnipresent, all-pervasive. God must know everything, have power over everything, and exist even within Satan himself. In this sense, the Abrahamic God uses Satan
Scapegoat.
as a scapegoat, and effectively removes himself of blame from every evil and imperfection.
Okay, I want to ask you guys a question. Let's say you are working with someone, and let's say your job has to do with a job site, and you go with this particular person to a job site. Let's say you guys clean jewelry stores. Cool. So you clean jewelry stores, blah, blah, blah. And your partner goes and steals some of the jewelry. Okay? Now, he gets caught. And what happens is now you guys have gone to the police station and they're asking you questions. And now he's saying, "No, it wasn't him. It wasn't him. It's you. You're the one who put it in his bag." Okay? That's what Eric Dubay is trying to do. He's trying to say that God is using the guy that's actually stealing the jewelry as the scapegoat for something God never did.
Yeah.
I think it goes further than that. I think he's saying that they're one and the same. Like he's the guy that's stealing the stuff, and he's the guy putting it in your bag. He's blaming God for both sides. Period, isn't he? Yeah.
Really odd. And his argument is, because God's omnipotent, he's omnipotent, he's all-knowing. Duh. It doesn't mean Satan doesn't exist. Doesn't mean Satan's not doing what he's doing. It just means you are loving the evil guy over the good guy.
Again,
This is like the Marvel movie. This is almost like a Marvel movie. The aliens are coming to destroy the world, and you are deciding to say, "Hey, yeah, I'm opening the portals for the aliens because I think they the good guys, not us that's busy trying to defend our world. You guys are all evil."
again, it's thinking with an actual mind as well. Not understanding it, thinking with an actual mind, not a supernatural mind. You know what I mean? You can't understand it. It's just like, oh, I don't understand that, so not happening.
Exactly.
Wow.
I mean, I'm very disappointed in Eric Dubay because if he had to put the same logic with flat Earth and globe Earth stuff,
Mm-hmm.
he might as well be an anti-flat earther.
Mm-hmm. Aye.
I think he's flat Earth society is from what I'm getting out of this now. The longer I stay here.
Does seem that way. But like I said, his flat Earth content is good. I've got no issues with his flat Earth content. It's his spiritual stuff that, man, this guy's way off the mark. Way. He's not even close to even shooting in the right direction towards the bull. You know what I mean? It's like he's supposed to be pointing this way, but he's turned that way.
Yeah, he's pointing into the aim by shooting into the sky, and the aim is on the ground.
Exactly. He's totally missed the mark.
He is still wholly good, benevolent, and perfect, you see. It is just that pesky Satan always causing problems. Next, God, through his scapegoat Satan, manifests through a scapegoat serpent in the Garden of Eden, who manipulates Eve into...
Okay, stop that. They're taking this shit without really looking at the context of the wording. Do they think it literally was a snake?
It's a serpent, by the way, not snake.
Serpent. Okay? That doesn't mean a snake.
And there's a reason behind serpent because it's got a real connotation. What does serpent mean, guys? What is the characteristics of a serpent?
To be sneaky.
Sneaky.
Stealthy.
Yeah.
The sneaky snake.
Deceptive.
You see, this is why, because God cursed the serpent to roam on his belly, people automatically think, oh, it's a snake. By the way, even just because roam in the belly doesn't literally make that he turned the serpent into a snake. You guys do know that?
Yeah, there are reptiles that aren't on their belly crawling. They crawl around, but they,
Yeah, well, that's what it said. Down on your belly, you will go.
And
Humbled him. He
yeah.
humbled him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. He humbled him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's like
slither about, huh?
if I say Michael Tuna's a sneaky little snake,
Mm.
does that literally make him a sneaky snake? No, I gave him the characteristics of a sneaky little snake.
Yeah.
When in reality, sneaky little snake is the game he used to play with his uncle when he was a kid. But that's another story.
Yeah, well, that's why I made that video about Duffy, calling him, he reminds me of the serpent in the garden, because it's his characteristic of what he portrays. I'm not calling him a serpent. I'm saying his characteristics resemble a serpent, which is conniving. It is dishonest.
Duffy is stupid.
That's... Oh, wow.
And slimy.
Breaking a previous...
Slimy. Yep.
Slimy.
What made me feel slimy about Duffy was him defending a young Earth creationist, man. That didn't feel right.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that's why they have that joke with why didn't God create Adam and Eve as Chinese? Because they would have eaten the snake.
Oh,
Nice.
It will be snake stew.
eating the snake, then took the fruit anyway.
Sorry, I hate to tell you this, Flats, but over here in Texas, we eat the snakes too. Sorry.
Yeah. Steaks taste good, guys.
Well, that's why I don't like chicken. It tastes too much like snake.
Like,
I see there's a butcher here that started selling some crocodile. So
Nice.
I told my wife we're definitely going to go look and getting some because we haven't had it in a long time. Now
I've had
that's-
alligator. I've had alligator.
Oh,
Alligator.
yeah, it's very nice meat.
That
It's
feels
also
funny.
it's weird. It's almost like between fish and chicken.
Oh, fishy chicken.
That he's coming to one of the guys, and he sees that he has shoes made of the alligator skin, and he's asking, where do you get them? I go to the Delta Nile, I travel there, I got the crowbar, I hit them, kill them, and here I have them, so that's how it gone. Okay, guy has gone over there. He's coming back. Fuck's sake, man! I fucking killed 5 of them, but none of them had the shoes.
Glad you got me curious about Lego, so I broke out the set I got my grandson, the Lego Bugatti, and
Whoa.
you should see the kit, dude. I'm not going to let him play with it, but they're like, it's massive.
Yeah,
They're
it's like
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I was helping my son for his birthday. We got him. It's also like a Meccano track. It can build like 10 different vehicles out of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's 4 years old, so he's not able to do it all properly. So I have to help him. That stuff's quite complicated sometimes.
This is
And
the book
the manuals are
Yeah.
stupid. I don't even follow the manual because it confuses you more using the manual than actually just doing it. You know what I mean? It's like,
Anybody here seen the Lego movie?
oh yeah.
That that was good because I think I like how these people were all like brainwashed, right?
Mhm.
They could only do things if they were told. They could only do things if they had the instructions. They had no creative abilities whatsoever because of that. And then here comes
Everybody
these
is
the other characters are like, hey, wait, you look, you can do this. You can make this into this and that and the other. And they're like, but that's not following the directions,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's how these Globers are. That's how these Globers
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. What's it saying? Or that song when they're singing "Every day is a happy day." What?
are. Because everything is awesome.
Everything is awesome. And
when you're
he has
part
his
of
coffee mug. And he
Yeah,
does
yeah.
exactly the same thing every day. Then they destroy everything. The next day they build it back up. That's exactly the Globus mentality.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a mindless zombie mentality.
That movie was great. I mean, it's a good movie for kids, but on the adult level too, it really makes you think. I thought I was going to die when that thing come up and says when it was Morgan Freeman, and he goes, "Oh, I'm a ghost," and I was like, "Oh."
No, it was actually a good movie. I enjoyed that.
Oh yeah, that's a great lesson to show. It imparts really. They spend 12 years trying to destroy the right hemisphere of your brain.
Mm-hmm.
They really do, and they're successful in a lot of cases because, like this guy, he's still on. He finally had to say, "Well, I cannot answer that question." He said, "I cannot answer that question. Do you have another question for me?" I said, "No, I've made my point. And my point is that if nobody ever told you this ridiculous nonsense as a child who didn't have deductive reasoning skills, then you would never come to that idea yourself. I mean, you're trying to tell me that you're just walking along, living your life, and you see the sunrise, you see the sunset, and you go, hey, I think that I must be standing on a ball. Nobody would ever do that. Nobody would ever even go into that direction of thinking.
Yeah.
I have only one question for the Globers. And I always ask the specific question always, so they will have no reason to lie. I always ask them, what did you have on your breakfast? Have no reason to lie. So that's the easiest question to ask them. And you probably will get the truth, or maybe not.
Well, since I'm an airline pilot surveyor, I had, oh my God, shut up. You're not a surveyor. You're not a pilot. That Wolfie, I watched that interview with Wolfie. What a retard.
Oh man, we tried to review some of it, and it's like the stuff said there.
I know.
I mean, the guy's such an idiot. He doesn't understand when he literally makes our point when he says you're getting a new horizontal everywhere you move. So the data shows then this is happening. No. So then no globe, no new horizontal. Not hard. It's quite idiotic. And I actually, I don't know if you guys saw, apparently Dave McKeegan also made a video on that. And he brought up our discussion about that. And he made our point literally by saying we're wrong, by saying what we said.
Yeah, that's right.
So you say the same thing we say, and then you say we're wrong.
that's like what they were saying in that, and when the Duffy and what's his name, Wolfie was talking.
Wolfie, yeah, that's
Yeah,
yeah.
is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
No, all right, yeah. I got you. All right, he was making flat earthers point.
It's like I'm saying, guys, this is a coffee mug. Then they come say, that's a coffee mug. You're wrong.
You could
Okay.
entertain Dave McKeegan with a laser pointer, couldn't you?
Yeah. But let's go on to Mr. Eric Dubay. We're halfway in his video already, so we're probably going to have to do the other video from him as well.
Oh, nice.
She had made with God. Due to this so-called original sin, every human born forever thereafter, until this very day, is said to be sinful and deserving of punishment.
From going to create man and woman with original sin. No, we're born into sin, not we are born with sin. We're born in a sinful world.
Yeah.
Children don't know right from wrong yet. They are not under the age of knowledge, so they're not able to know right from wrong, so they can't sin.
Exactly.
To have sin, you have to know it's wrong.
Exactly. They're definitely born into sin, but a baby can't sin. Not until it knows what sin is.
Exactly. That's why you have what they call the age of accountability.
Absolutely.
So totally wrong. And then I'm going to impregnate a woman with myself. No, he didn't impregnate a woman with himself.
Oh,
He's making it sound like he raped her or something.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Eric Dubay having children and raising them like that. It's going to make society worse if it teaches them the same thing he's teaching everybody else. It really will.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Yeah.
The thing is, Mary was a virgin. Jesus was planted in her as a human from spirit. He was born without conception. Get it?
Mhm.
So it's totally wrong. And then he says, so that I can be born. He can be born. Once alive, I will kill myself as a sacrifice to myself. No, again, that's also wrong. Jesus didn't kill himself. He was murdered. He gave himself up as an offering for sin. So that is totally wrong again. It's the difference between killing yourself and being put as an offering.
Just take the events of the gospel and turn it into your own words. Why not, Eric Dubay?
Yeah, and then he says, to save you from the sin I originally condemned you to. No, God didn't condemn anybody. You condemned yourself when you decided to do that sin.
Aye.
Because what the sin is, sin equals death.
That's right.
Yep, separation from God.
Right.
The
So,
Father and the Son
ta-da!
aren't the same people either. No.
Which is what you wanted, separation from God. So
Exactly.
it's your own fault in the end. You didn't want
so
to be with God, so there you go. You're not going to be with God afterwards.
yeah. So this tada is tada. Eric Dubay doesn't know scripture.
Yeah. So it should be Hadat. No, it's not.
I don't know why people say we were scared to look at this.
I know, it's so basic.
This is like entry level atheism kind of arguments that's been, kindergarten thrashed. You know what I mean? This is like not a challenge at all. This literally is just showing his ignorance to the subject. That's showing he has a personal vendetta to God for some odd reason. That's it.
Yeah.
For thousands of years because of scapegoat Eve's broken promise. Believers of this story start to develop an acute spiritual Stockholm syndrome, causing them to blame themselves and believe that they and all of humanity are lowly sinners, unworthy and fallen, in need of a savior's redemption.
Stockholm syndrome, what?
There was
I
no
don't
such thing as Stockholm syndrome back then, anyway. That's quite a new thing, Stockholm syndrome. You know what I mean?
But I
It
mean,
sounds like it doesn't give God it doesn't give God credit for giving us free will to make our own choices.
one man, one spirit. Psalms 58 verse 3 is in context to the pagan beliefs. So, in other words, the people that were born into a pagan belief system, which is ungodly. That doesn't make the children, the babies, speaking lies. Do you come out the womb all of a sudden saying, "Hey, I'm gonna lie"? You're a baby. You can't speak.
You don't
You
even know
must
what a
read
lie
the context. Yeah, you have to read the context of the verse of the scripture to know what it's about. It's about the pagan beliefs the people are born up into. That's it. You brought up in a pagan belief, so you're living an ungodly life. You are taught to live an ungodly life. That's what it's about. But anyway, yeah, we don't have Stockholm syndrome. We don't feel that everybody's just condemned, blah, blah, blah. No, it's simply a love story. You choose to be with the God that created you, or you choose not to be with him. Your choice. That's it. Nothing really complicated about it. It's like saying, guys, I bought myself a new Lamborghini, but you know what? That Lamborghini, I'm not going to drive it. Okay. You either choose to drive it or you don't. What the hell? What's it going to change anything? It's the same with God. God gives you a choice. Hey, you want to come spend eternity with me or not? Your choice. That's it.
None of this should seem surprising, heretical, or blasphemous, since the Abrahamic God is often portrayed in the Bible as being vengeful, vindictive, arrogant, impudent, insecure, and
No,
indecisive.
that's another
Well,
atheist
that's
argument.
totally wrong.
Impudent? What? So how's he being impudent to?
Okay.
Who could God be impudent to?
In what manner? Is another
Yeah.
way.
I mean, it's something my dad would have said to me as a kid. Stop being impudent to me. You know what I mean? Who's God looking up to? That way. I'm thinking it that way.
I got you.
That's totally wrong. I mean, if you look at God's characteristics, it's totally opposite of what he just said. So would this be considering he's trying to gaslight God?
I would say so. Or make it appear that God could gaslight people in any way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm. Very sad, Eric. You should
Why
treat
would God have a need to deceive anyways? He can just do whatever he wants.
Exactly. He doesn't need to deceive. He can just do what he wants, as you said. But because he lets everybody have a free will, he lets you choose your path. That's it.
Yep.
But because he's a justful God, he lets you pay for those actions you take. Because a lot of the times people do things that have consequences to someone else.
But the impudent thing, I mean, who does he have to show respect to? No, it should be a respect in him. I mean, I think God shows respect to him, but but he doesn't. We should show respect to him.
Well, let's put this in another light. Let's say someone murders someone. Okay, that person gets caught and they put on death row. That person asks the family for forgiveness because they murdered that person. Okay, the family forgives them. Does that person still have to be executed? Yes, because the system is justful.
There's still consequences.
There's
to
still
sin.
consequences for that sin,
Just-
even though there's forgiveness.
Yeah.
So the same with Jesus. If you sinned and you asked for forgiveness, yes, he forgave. But there's consequences for that.
Forgiveness doesn't mean to say no consequences. Yeah, you know, people get exactly. You do something on the street, you murder someone. You seen that guy in court, the guy with the beard and that. He went up to the actual murderer and forgave him, but he forgave that guy. You know what I mean? And if you ask God, God would forgive him as well. But he still had to go to jail for life. You know?
I have to put this up what Sandra's saying. So if you heard a voice believing it to be God and told you to kill your kids, would you do it? No, because it goes against God's character.
No, of course not. Of course you wouldn't do
And
that.
by the way, there are many cases that have been said in history where people have said, well, yeah, a voice in my head told me to do it. Or God told me to do it. Yeah, but that's just people that don't read their Bible because they would know that's not God's character.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'll
Because
tell you, twice in my life, I've come near to death, and it was like like audible to me, but no one there, and I'm like all alone. That like startled me or gave me a command, and it was like this one time we lived in Michigan. It was like the third most dangerous intersection in the whole state of Michigan, and I was approaching that, had a green light. And there was like it was almost like somebody was sitting in the back seat. And as I approached that intersection, he said, "Stop!" I heard this like audible voice say, "Stop!" And I slowed down and hit the brake and started to stop. And I'll be damned if a big truck didn't come right through that intersection, run a red light, would have creamed me if I hadn't have stopped.
Wow.
Another time was in a warehouse. There was nobody else around. And the only person was on the other side of an aisle. There was big parts of machinery stacked up on pallets on these shelves way up high. I had to get a forklift to get them up and pick them up. And there was somebody over on the other side of the aisle getting some equipment with a forklift. I was the only one in there. Actually, a factory with, there's noise around you and everything, like a dull all the time. And it was like something just yelled at me. It scared me, so I moved. It just said, "Move!" like that. And I jumped over to the side, like from the opposite direction from where that voice came from. And right as that happened, a piece of that equipment fell right from the shelf and smashed on the floor. It was about 2 tons.
Wow. Wow.
And I can't explain where that came from. But it was actually an audible yelling at me.
But like I said, even with us, when we were younger, we were driving to youth, and it was me and my brother. He was sitting in the seat and me, and we were going around a circle. And just as we approached the circle, I looked in the rearview mirror and I saw someone sitting in the back seat. And out of shock, I pressed brakes. At that moment, a car came speeding across, a drunk driver, and went, and he just missed the front of our car by like, let's say, that much. He would have sideswiped us totally. And then people tell me, "Oh no, God doesn't exist." But there was no one else in the car. But I clearly saw someone, and I was so shocked I pressed brake.
Yeah, there you go. God works in mysterious ways. You didn't know who that person. You didn't know that there was not meant to be a person there. And you looked and there was a person there. You don't know who that person was. You know what I mean? It shocked you into stopping the brakes, hitting the brakes. No, God works in mysterious ways, man.
What in the world?
He
I
is
think
shown
it's the
to
same
be
with the devil
homicidal,
too. He does stuff like that. The devil actually works in mysterious
he
ways
saves
too.
people. Yeah, it's the devil saving people.
Well,
He's the good guy, remember?
Absolutely. I mean, I believe Saul had God.
Not saving people. I mean, like I've been in situations that were like engineered by an evil thing that happened to me that I had no control over. I had no intervention in the process. But I've been in a couple of car wrecks where there's no way in the world that anybody could have timed it any better. It was, I had bad results from it, is what I'm saying. I probably were under the covering of God at the time. I didn't get a voice hollering at me, but I wish I would have. You know?
No, but I'm saying, well, I've never heard God's voice. I've heard the devil's voice. I believe Saul heard God's voice at that point, or God using a voice of some sort to you know what I mean? It's God that did that. You know what I mean? I heard the devil's voice, but in hearing the devil's voice gave me faith in God.
Yeah, but God also speaks in different ways.
Absolutely.
A lot of times you get like atheists, like, well, I asked God to speak to me and he never spoke to me. No, he did. You just weren't listening.
Absolutely.
Homicidal, infanticidal, and genocidal, orders human and animal sacrifices from followers, and drowns nearly everyone alive, hundreds of thousands, for behaving against his bidding.
Did he just say God demanded human sacrifices? Where in
That's apparently what he says, yeah. Which is totally wrong. God's against human sacrifices. Hence why the god of Molech from the Babylonians, why God ordered the execution of all the Canaanites. Because you know what the worshippers of Molech did? They took their newborn babies and stuck them on the altar of Molech, which is a burning red hot statue where they stick the babies in, and they play drums as loud as hard as they can so that we can hear the screaming of the babies. That's what the people did. Now they see, oh, God's evil because he told them to wipe those evil people out.
Yeah, that's judgment, mate. That's judgment.
Supposedly today beliefs the Molech was eating flesh of dead bodies.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, you understand, the atheists and they're like, oh, God's such an evil God because he ordered the Israelites to kill those people.
It was just punishment.
No, they literally were killing their own born children by sacrificing to burn alive.
Yep.
Constantly, every day. Do you see the issue here? So God should just stand by and say, okay, carry on doing it. That's fine.
No, it's not. And they're still doing it today with another quote unquote cause, right?
Babylon still exists, guys.
Yeah, never has gone anywhere. Correct.
This is the same God that created the predatory food chain, where every living being has to kill and consume the bodies of other living beings in order to survive.
Animals don't have soul.
How do we put this back to our first video again? God didn't create them in that way. The way they are now is based on the curse of sin. They became that way due to the curse of sin. Because what does sin do? It is death.
Wages of sin is
Sin
death.
causes death. That's the wages of sin.
Yeah.
I think Dubay was trying to make a reference to Abraham and Isaac when it said God demand, but he didn't demand
He didn't
sacrifice.
demand him to kill. He tested Abraham, and he did it out of showing him what he will do. God the Father is willing to let his son Jesus go and be sacrificed for our sins. If God was really so sadistic, he would have let Abraham kill Isaac with. Did he not? Would he? Yeah, did he? No, he stopped him.
No.
And what happened? Abraham knew God would stop him. Why? Because they never took a lamb offering. What was Abraham's word to Isaac? Don't worry, God will provide. And what did they provide? Provided a male ram stuck in thorn bushes. What does that signify? Jesus was the male ram with a crown of thorns.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they talk about the faith of Abraham in Hebrews, and that you're right. Abraham knew that for in some way that he wouldn't have to kill his son because God had already promised that through Abraham and his son that generations and generations will be formed. You know what I mean?
And look at the context of where Isaac came from.
Yes.
Sarah was how old when they had Isaac? Way past the age of conception.
She was barren.
Waited years and years and years for this.
Yeah, she was barren.
I'm going to piss everybody off right now. Sorry to say this, but I think Eric Dubay's problem is veganism.
No way! I just did a video on veganism.
It's cult-like. Veganism is cult-like. Unfortunately, I got no issues against vegans. Sorry if it offends you, but it does lead you to hate God in some way, because you feel sorry for animals or whatever, but you guys are such hypocrites because your vegan foods harm more animals and insects to keep it vegan than what people do to actually bring up cattle and livestock to feed people.
Yeah, but I love my Betsy. I want to keep her in the house.
I'm sorry, but vegan is it's a lie.
You don't have to wonder who's a vegan either.
They
They'll
tell you.
tell you. Oh, they'll tell you.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
They'll
That
go
was
out
like,
of their freaking way to tell you, man.
Oh
that
yeah.
was kind of the point of the video.
They literally feel offended that you're not vegan with them.
Yeah. That's a human nature, though, to want to validate your belief through consensus. In other words, the more people that you get on board with it, the more true it becomes. When in reality, consensus does not indicate truth. It doesn't. It's not the deciding factor of truth. Right now, we've got a whole bunch of brainwashed people that have been told and believe that they live on a spinning ball in space without a single firsthand observation of such a ridiculous thing. You see, but because they believe it, does that make it true? If enough little kids believe in Santa Claus, will he suddenly appear and be real? It's kind of like, if you remember in the Peter Pan, I went and saw, my folks took us to see it live with Sandy Duncan. And the thing was, Tinkerbell was dying.
We do.
Tinkerbell
We
was
do.
dying.
Every-
All the kids in the audience, they said, everybody clap your hands to believe in Tinkerbell and she'll come back, because she requires your belief in order to exist. And the kids all clap their hands and everything, and we believe, and the little light in the lady's hand got brighter, and they're going, oh, look, it brought Tinkerbell back. Now, in a childlike mind, that works. You don't have any deductive reasoning skills yet, but did we really make a magic fairy come back into existence by our belief in it? No, we didn't. It was a light in the lady's hand. But that's the same thing with this. You have to have everybody to believe in it in order for it to be true.
Yeah, exactly.
See, that's where I'm at. I know where I'm at. I know what, I know I'm not on a globe spinning around on the earth, and I'll stand by that. I don't need anybody else to agree with me. I really don't. I don't care if there's 100,000 people that thinks that they live inside of a hot dog. It doesn't make it so,
Well, let's for instance take North Korea, the communists. Okay, they propagandized to know very certain things. They are totally cut off from the rest of the world. What they know is what they know. Okay? Does that make what they know reality? No, it's because that's what they taught. And this is exactly the Globers. They taught that we live on a spinning space ball. Okay?
In both cases, it makes their reality.
They
believe it.
conditioned to
Yes,
believe it. They
exactly.
taught this way. Doesn't make it reality, but they will fight tooth and nail for it because that's what they taught. Everybody else that goes against their belief system is seen as a idiot, and you just you follow every conspiracy. No, we're just realists. We understand that we don't have to be gullible sheep. So they stigmatize anybody that leaves their cult. And that's exactly why flat earthers are hated so much, because we're a threat to the way they have their thinking. We're a threat to everything they stand by, because what are they standing by? I must just follow and believe. I must just follow whatever's told to me. I must just follow like a blind sheep. They can't have people thinking logically for themselves. They can't have people thinking, hey, maybe what they're telling me is wrong.
No,
Dare
can't.
you?
I think Akumu's lost over here, though. See what he's saying?
Yeah, he
Doesn't
doesn't understand
matter.
what the word free will means.
No.
But that's Akumu virus has always been this way. He's
Yeah.
not the brightest bulb in the bunch. Okay, let's carry on with Dubay.
Sorry.
He demands adoration, worship, and obedience, while at the same time supposedly allowing for complete freedom. Rather than seeing this insanity for what it is, many have the gall to call this system perfect, and see the cycle of incessant suffering as some beautiful circle of life. As Arthur Schopenhauer said, "This world could not have been the work of an all-loving being, but that of a devil, who had brought creatures into existence in order to delight in the sight of their suffering." Even New Agers gaslight themselves with similar belief systems, claiming we actually choose everything about our incarnations on Earth, from our parents, friends, and enemies, to all abuses we endure and tragedies we suffer. Similar to children of toxic parents.
Whoa. Faith is child abuse. What? Teaching a child to uncritically accept your religious lies is teaching them not to think. You are teaching them that belief without evidence is acceptable. This damages the child's ability to reason. Oh, what rubbish. Add to that teaching the child that normal behavior is sinful and the sinful are hellbound, and you get a clear pattern of psychological abuse. What? No, Eric Dubay,
Yeah.
were you taught that eating poison ivy is bad? I would take that as a yes, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you physically have to go and eat poison ivy to make sure that's the truth? Or are you just going to blindly believe what your parents told you? You're going to believe them, correct? Because why? They are protecting you. So, hello, when we bring our children up in the way God tells us to bring them up and to understand God is there and to have faith, that is us protecting them and bringing them up in the way of the Lord. We're not forcing them, we're just bringing them up the way God told us to do so.
Yeah.
Why?
Like,
Protection.
Mhm.
So when they do get older, they have their own choice to make. Are they going to carry on following God or not? We don't force anybody. This is total nonsense.
Mhm.
It is abuse to tell someone you're not allowed to teach them godly ways. That is a form of communism. That is a form of, how can I say it? Forcing your cult belief onto others because you don't have the same belief. So you are actually being the abuser here, not the people bringing people up to understand that God loves them.
I would equivocate it with crossing the street. If I wasn't taught to look both ways before I cross the street, am I going to test that out? Just walk right out there.
It's really stupid. I mean, there's so much things you taught, and you have to accept by faith that what that's being taught is true. That doesn't make it child abuse. The issue comes when it becomes a issue is when you're teaching people propaganda. Okay, let's take the globe belief system for a reason, for an instance. Do your parents teach you it's a globe? Or does the school and everything on the TV and media and the government and everything that has no personal interest in you teach you?
Well, they want you to think they do, at least.
So propaganda is abuse.
I object. They have interest. They have interest to brainwash
Yeah,
you.
but not for you.
Yes, not
interest
for you,
in
exactly.
you.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to say. Propaganda is the gaslighters. Propaganda is the abusers.
Yes.
Making children stand up, swearing an oath to pledge their allegiance to a country and form of government they know nothing about is child abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and I agree completely. But Akumu virus, God did create everything, dude. Hate to tell you that.
Akuma, I've just said to you, I forgot to at you in it, but I've just said my last comment was for you. And my last comment to you was, God didn't create evil. That's in the King James Version, it says evil. And the evil in that context can be translated as calamity or disaster. It just means the context of the whole passage is about God's sovereignty over all, over bad, over good, over everything.
Look,
Basically.
God created all things, okay?
Yeah.
Evil is a byproduct of
Yes.
that because you have to have a yin and a yang. You have to have a good and a bad. You
Exactly.
don't know what cold is if there's not hot. You don't know what dark is if there's no light.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I mean? So you
Well-
don't know what good is if there's no bad.
And willingly embracing evil is just as bad as, and then complain about the results. That would be like you willingly sticking your hand under scalding water and then complaining because you got burned. It's the same
Exactly.
thing. You made the choice. And I will tell you this right now, I fully believe that we are born with inherent knowledge of good and bad. I mean, even a child, before they even have the ability to talk, can tell that benevolence is good, kindness is good, and malevolence is bad.
Mhm.
It's not good, it's negative. That's inherent. You know this already. And that's why whenever you do something that goes against what is good, you get that little feeling. Some people, they've learned to override it. And there's even those soulless beings that don't even have it to begin with. But you already know you're screwing up. And if you don't stop and question what you're doing, then you're just willingly going, discarding it. I call it your moral compass, your inner compass. And if you don't, just like a regular compass, if you don't follow it correctly, you're not going to get to where you're supposed to be.
That's why they call it lost. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why when you get these people on antidepressants and stuff, they become emotionless.
Yep.
Because they literally kill the emotion, so they don't know what's between wrong and right.
Who was it? Azazel?
Azazel, yeah.
Brought pharmakia to man.
Mm-hmm. That's what Enoch says.
That's one of the indictments. I love that list of indictments that he's got on each of them. And I kind of break it down into regular, terminology. It's like, okay, these guys, they went and did all this, taking wives of the human women and, defiling the beasts and all that, almost like a drunken craziness took place. And then they went, oh man, we really messed up. God won't even talk to us no more. He won't even talk to us. We know he'll talk to Enoch. He's like the most righteous scribe. So they went to him to write an appeal, to come up with an appeal for them. So he went before God, and God was like, okay, dude, wait a second. Before you even go any farther, I'm going to tell you what these suckers did, man. I'm going to give you a list of why I did what I've done and what they've done. Okay. And then he lists that indictment. And it's like, oh, yeah, you guys screwed up bad, really bad.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we were reading last night, by the way.
But the fact that they knew that they had screwed up and appealed to God, what's that tell you? They had remorse. They had some sort of remorse, no matter how small, for what they had done.
Mm-hmm.
They knew it was wrong.
Well, let's for instance take fornication into chat, like where you get people they meet at a club, okay? They decide to do the dirty work for that little 2 minutes or whatever. Woman gets pregnant. Now those two are bonded for life because now they got a child.
Yeah.
Now they make a choice to go and abort or keep the baby, and a lot of the times the people don't love each other, so they end up maybe marrying and getting divorced, and the child ends up not, brought up in a broken family. Would all this have been avoided if they chose not to do the dirty because they know that it's wrong?
That's right. That's why it's a spiritual thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a spiritual thing. You're just passing it on if you're sleeping willy-nilly with people.
But now
You're bonded to them.
But now you see the consequence of that sin has been passed down to the child. The child has to live with the consequences now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's why I find it really, really incredulous for people like Dubay to say it's God's fault that there's evil. No. People make own choices. People have a free will to make their choices. It's not God's fault. He doesn't force them to do anything. They made the choice. He's just a loving God to say, hey, I stand by you. When you're always welcome to come back. I forgive you. I love you. That's it.
The prodigal son.
Yeah, the prodigal son is exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
People always miss the mark because they have, this is what I'm saying, they have self-righteousness. They have self-lust for themselves. They want to sin because to them it's nice. Why does God want to take this awesome thing away from me? So he must be a bad man.
I think nature works the way it does. God created it that way. And if you don't abide by the rules that are in nature, I mean, you don't snap your fingers and like all the bad stuff goes away. Nature itself, you have control over it, and you make choices in it, and that's where that's why you have guidelines.
Yeah,
it's like God gave.
Yeah, it's like going to a zoo or something, or enclosement with a full bunch of man-eating hungry lions, and the zookeeper there says, please don't go in there, because he knows the dangers of that. And you tell the guy, no, I'm going to go in there. You're just a bad man because you want to stop me from going to pet those lions. The guy's just trying to protect you. So you go in and you get eaten. Whose fault? Oh, a newspaper comes out. Zookeeper let the guy go in and get eaten by the lions. No, the story was he warned him, told him not to go in. The guy said he was evil and went in. Who got the blame? The zookeeper. This is what Eric Dubay is doing. Blaming God for other people's actions. It's really idiotic. I find it childish, actually.
They tend to justify their abusive upbringings as tough love and learning opportunities, then continue to repeat the poor parenting behaviors themselves. All suffering, negativity, and evil.
Did he just call godly parenting poor parenting?
Yep, he did.
Wow.
We're repeating the cycle, too. Yeah.
Wow. And can you please tell us how it's poor parenting, Eric? Does Eric even have a child?
I don't think so.
I don't believe so.
So how the hell does he know what poor parenting is?
I don't think he has first clue about it, personally.
No. By the way, it reminds you of there was this woman I saw, she had dogs, and she's like, yeah, I only bring up vegan dogs. And it's like, look, I can hold a sausage in front of the dog and the dog won't eat it. The dog goes and eats the sausage.
Vegan dogs, yeah, that sounds...
I mean, I said in my vegan video I did just yesterday, I mean, how many vegans you see with any kind of... I know vegan gains has got weight on him, but he's a bodybuilder.
Yeah, but he's not natural. He's on steroids. He's on steroids.
That's what I said in my video. Look at any other, the vegan teacher, she's skinny as hell. You know what I mean? That girl that goes about...
let's put this way.
Skinny
you
as
can
hell.
bodybuild. You can use vegan supplements to bodybuild.
Yeah.
But the amount you have to take to have the same amount of protein that a meat eater would take is a lot more.
Yeah.
You don't get the same amount of protein.
It's because of these damn vegans that you're not able to go out and observe a tofu in the wild anymore.
Those tofus get in the way, don't they?
I'll tell you what. There used to be herds of tofu roaming the plains until the vegans came. And then it was all over. You know what
Vegan
gets
dog
me
is
about that
basically
is
a unicorn.
they always have this thing where they want to take a bunch of vegetables and shit and make it look and taste like meat. And it's like,
Yeah, that's
why? That'd be like me taking a bunch of beef and trying to make it look and taste like a carrot.
Yeah, but I mean, it shows you they know they love meat.
Huh?
They just don't want to admit it. So they try and make it artificial to make it taste like the thing that they hate.
See that salad I put in front of you? Yep, it's 100% beef. We spent a lot of effort to make all that beef look and taste like lettuce and fucking carrots and shit.
Ironic. My next stream, I named. Ironically, I named it "Vegans Rule." It's sarcasm, but yeah, it's got tonight.
Yeah.
Like Fight Club.
Ding, ding.
Attributed to God wanting your pain to teach you something. And if bad things keep happening, it's just because you haven't learned your lesson yet. As Howdy Makowski wrote, the standard presentation is that this world was created by a loving God who cares about us. Does that really match your experience of the world? And the
There's
Yes.
Jono. Jono Edwards.
There's John Edwards. Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing.
experiences of those you see around you? How could a loving deity not step in and help, but let all the massive suffering on
Wait, the loving deity does step in and help a lot. Do you know how much testimonials daily happens by saying, whoa, something supernatural happened. If this didn't happen, this would have happened.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's total nonsense. To me, Eric Dubay, you should be changing the stream of yours to let me gaslight God.
Yes. Let me try.
Gaslight
Yeah.
people away from God.
Exactly.
Let me
LJ,
promote
thank you for the
New
super
Age.
chat.
Let me promote New Age, even if I say I'm not New Ager.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, LJ, for your $2 super chat. It says meat equals me eat. It's literally in the word itself. Exactly. That's a good way of seeing that. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Thank you very
that's a
much
good
for the
one.
super chat, man. You
Uh-huh.
rock. Yeah, me eat. It is in the word. Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, sorry guys. Dubay, you totally lost the plot, man. I think rather stick to flat Earth.
Earth continue. Perhaps because the Creator, whoever it is, wants the suffering. That is why they are not stepping in. The entire God loves us and me is a big lie that all religions and the New Age are trapped under. They find ways to turn the
Whoa. There's a difference between all these gods you're putting there. There's only one God there that was willing to give up his divinity to become a servant and die for you. Every other God there requires you to do stuff for them. Can you guess which one it is?
And all of them speak about Christ, one way or another.
Ah.
Maybe there's connection there.
The one is a selfless God. The others aren't. I wonder which one that is. The one he's trying to say is gaslighting.
torture of this world into a wonderful message and learning from light. Do you really think God wants an 8-year-old kid to get beat up? A girl to get...
Whoa. 8-year-old gets beat up. It's not God that beats them up. It's someone else that beats them up, Eric.
Yep.
Do you think God takes the other kid's hand and hey, smack this kid? No.
I just wonder why only Christ and God is being attacked from everywhere, no other gods.
No.
Because he's the true God.
Yeah, maybe because Satan works this way. Want to diminish him? Maybe that's the case. I'm just asking the question.
When last have you guys seen a hit piece on Buddha?
Never.
I don't think I've ever seen one.
No. All I do is see people tickling his belly. Oh, I'll get some good luck for that.
Or Krishna or anything. You don't see them fighting. No, it's always let's attack Jesus.
When I was being sent over to Germany, I had to fly out of St. Louis, which was stupid. I don't know why they did that. They flew me from Detroit to St. Louis to New Jersey, then to, I don't know why they just couldn't have gone. Anyway, the thing was, I got these guys with these robes. They was wearing like these robes. They were Hare Krishnas, I guess. And they came up to me and they said, "Oh, would you like this book? Take this book on the church, whatever their church is or whatever." And they handed me this book, and I was in a hurry to get my gate. And I said, "Okay, well, thanks." And they started following me. And they're like, "Would you like to make a donation?" And I was like, "No, but thanks for the book."
Yeah, they gave it to you.
So I just kept walking, and they kept haranguing me for a donation, or I was going to have to give them the book back. And I said, "No, you gave this book to me, man." Anyway, I got on the plane, and I happened to look down. I hadn't even looked at what the book was. And it was this guy on the front wearing one of them orange robes, and the name of the book was called Chant and Be Happy.
Oh.
And I was like, what in the fuck did I run into down there, man? No, I was only, what, 18? No, 17. I was 17.
But that's usually what they do, though. They give you something for free and then expect something in return after giving it for free.
Yeah. I was like, no, you gave it to me, man. You
Yeah.
didn't say anything about selling it to me. You put it in my hands to take this gift, and I was thanks. Thank you
Yep.
for the gift.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
It's quite insane.
I'll get you back sometime.
Okay, it's got like 30 seconds left of the video. Let's quickly see.
Or a dog tortured by its owner? Careful examination would reveal that the demiurge, or Satan, wants that. The idea that God loves us is a key foundation pillar upon which this entire matrix is built. It is such a strong foundation that many people will even get angry and violent if you suggest otherwise. Because if this belief were found to be false, every other connection to this reality would also have to be questioned. Thus, the God loves me belief is one of the
Okay.
Sure.
No. Sure. Keep telling yourself that, Eric. While you literally showed you don't even understand scripture. I thought we were going to have to watch the other video as well. And we actually, wow, went through time.
Yeah, you've actually got it. Wow, that's fluid.
I can't believe it.
Wow.
And this is the time where I give an opportunity for everybody who's not saved, if they want to be saved. If you feel that God is tugging at your heart and you know you're not correct with God and you're not right, and you just want to have a prayer, this is up to you. Your turn. Just type 1 in chat, or if you want, you can just email me and I'll privately pray for you. Doesn't matter. Flatzoid@gmail.com. Appreciate all of you, and just let you know Jesus loves you. And well, Eric Dubay, there's a reason why he's so antichrist, and I think everybody knows why. Yeah. So closing statements. What you guys have to say?
Like you said, Eric Dubay, flat earth stuff. Yeah, he's not too bad at. But that what he had to say about God is basic. I mean, it's basic stuff. Like you said, it's elementary stuff. It's beginner stuff that he's trying to debunk God with, basically, and it's so simple to debunk him with scripture, even logic. Even logic. God, it seems to me like he's just got a grudge against God. Like the atheists, like the atheists who don't believe in a God, but then start blaming God for stuff. Well, he did this and he did that. Who did? If he's not there.
Yeah.
Like,
I just want to say, LJ, I have invited him to come chat. He is tagged in this video as well. It was his comment in the first video that told me to watch this. Yeah. Dubay's more than welcome to come talk. Nobody will keep him from this.
No, he won't ever come up.
Is that he has some kind of unresolved issues, and I know that the Americans love to go to the psychologists. Maybe some for him.
So you say Eric Dubay needs to go to a psychologist? Is that what you're saying, Giannis?
Yeah, maybe because he looks like he has some unresolved issues in his
He
life.
does.
It's very personal to him.
Yes.
It does seem that way.
So it's deep into him. So that's why I say, because Americans love to go to the psychologists and so on, maybe he should go and try. I wouldn't go myself ever, but maybe it's the road for him. I don't know.
There's some people just need a shoulder to cry on.
Well,
It makes me wonder if he had any childhood issues himself, especially dealing with Christians too.
I mean,
It seems like he's got a grudge against it. Almost.
Yeah, was his family Christian or anything like that? Do we know?
No, I don't
No,
know.
it's not. I mean,
I'm sorry, I was busy making a tuna fish sandwich.
Yeah, I forgot about it. Case was,
Sean Hawken. They make you a Sean Hawken sandwich.
how exactly do you tune a fish? That's what
You can tune a piano, but
KK Westbury said that he lives in the Thailand. I forgot about it. You're correct. Yeah.
Yeah, he's moved to Thailand.
Yeah. I added a little egg to mine. I guess it's tuning up work. Yeah. Yeah, Eric Dubay has some psychology issues he needs to deal with, or some kind of grudge against religion. It seems like, let alone just, especially Christianity, though. Because I didn't hear him really mention anything in a New Age format there at all, like pointing the finger at them. Did he?
I think he was speaking about Muhammad before.
Did he?
Once, I think. I'm not sure. But that's a possibility. I think I've heard him, but I'm not sure now.
I never heard him bring up Muhammad.
Yeah, but
It seems like he
I want to point out again, guys. I got no issue with Eric Dubay and his flat Earth content at all. I think his flat Earth content is very good, but when it comes to specifically spiritual stuff, you should stay as far away from it as anything, because no, he's not made for that. Definitely not.
So, Flats, you're not going to do what the Christians did in the airport with Saab and ask people for money for prayer, are you?
No.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah, God tells me you should give me money so I can pray for you. You shall be blessed. No.
Right. There's people out there spending their money to that.
Guys.
Good job.
Kenneth Copeland and the rest of those TV people, Joel Osteen and all the rest of them idiots.
Yeah,
And
they mortgaging their house for this to give them tithes.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Wow, talk about being hypnotized. Gee.
Flat, I have dropped previously 2 links to the Jesus in Genesis. They are pretty good. The guy's going very deep into it. Pretty good videos. And not very long, like 10 minutes or something.
I'll definitely watch them. What's up, Charles?
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Hey Charles, nice to
Hey
have you.
guys.
You just missed it.
I know. I was doing yard work and it's been crazy.
Good to see you, man.
Just saying
Yeah,
hi.
but you didn't miss much anyway, because his video practically has the same answers to the first video we made. Still
Okay.
comes down to free will at the end of the day. And it just shows him trying to gaslight God, not the other way around.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah, it's not really much. They say there's one more video he's got. No one has free will. So that's probably one we'll have to do next week.
Yeah, Pleb something made a great summary about him, about Eric Dubay. It's worth to read it.
I think he just thinks highly of his own self. He refuses to believe something is bigger than he is. Full-blown narcissist and ego-driven Eric Dubay. Could be. Could be a good point.
I think I know where he's going to go with the free will one, too.
Yeah, well, I know. He's just going to say, oh, that's just an excuse. There's no such thing as free will because God predestined you. Literally showing he doesn't understand what free will means then. Let's place it this way in a scenario. Let's say I am able to tell the future and I give you a choice. Take the right door or take the left door. I already know which door you're going to take. Okay? I'm not telling you anything. I'm just saying, take the right door, take the left door.
Right.
You decide which door you take. I knew which one you were going to take. Now that's predetermination, correct?
Yeah.
But you still had free will to choose which door you wanted.
Absolutely.
I did nothing to it. I still let you do your free will.
Absolutely.
Now they're saying because predetermination is there, you don't have free will. Total poppycock.
Both are true. Free will and predestined. Simple.
Just because you know the future and predestined doesn't mean you didn't give the guy a free will to make his own choice.
That's right.
Listen to this guy. He said, I said, what observations would I have that would lead me into the direction of thinking that I was standing on a sphere? And he said, the fact that satellites don't work on a flat Earth satellite. I said, wait a minute. I don't observe any satellites. And what about you? What proof do you have of orbiting satellites that can't be explained by undersea cables, towers, and balloons? I don't see any freaking satellites flying around.
Nope.
I don't have any proof of there's something going around the Earth. I don't have any proof of that whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
I see something go across the sky. I assume that it's going around the Earth. If I did see that, now how the hell are you seeing something that's about the size of a Volkswagen at 300, 400 miles away? How in the hell are you actually seeing anything? Well, where's it getting its light for you to see it from?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
If the
usually
Earth
the
is
sun.
occulting- the Earth
Exactly.
is supposedly occulting the sun. Where the hell is the light coming from?
But it's refracted around the globe, Sov.
But the question is how we can see so-called stars with a telescope, but we can never see those objects supposed to be placed there. I never seen any of them in the sky. So really, are they there?
Mm.
111 Spirit. God doesn't have a crystal ball. He is the all-knowing God. He's omnipotent, omnipresent. Okay? He's always there. He's timeless. He knows what is and what is to come. So no matter what choice you make, he already knows the outcome. Doesn't take the thing away that you still made the choice to do something.
It was just an analogy. You know what I mean? It's not. You don't have to equate it to a crystal ball, man. Come on.
Atheist much?
He's not atheist though. One man.
It's not.
No.
Oh, so from
No.
where this question comes from?
He just doesn't think we've got free will. He just thinks we're predestined. That's it. Predetermined. No free will. Oh, we've got a will, but it's not free. Something like that.
Well, they don't want to give any credit to the creator to start with. It seems like to me that's where it all boils down to. God created it all to start with, so he definitely does know outcomes. And to live in his creation is what I don't think they like living here, is what I get out of it. They don't like God's creation or God. So
No,
that's on them.
mind, spirit. Yes, God hardens and softens, but it's according to your will. So, for example, in the matter of blaspheming Holy Spirit, yes, because you are going so far, you are rejecting because Holy Spirit is approaching you time and over again. So then God gives you to your own will and really hardens your heart against the Holy Spirit, and there is no
Yeah.
change. So
That's
yes,
why-
that's true. He hardens, but it's according to your own will, where you're going, what you're pushing, what you wanna achieve. That's what it is. He's just giving you what you want.
Yeah, well, look at, for instance, like in Exodus, where God hardened Pharaoh's heart. Okay? I just said God hardened Pharaoh's heart. He didn't make Pharaoh do any decision. Pharaoh still made the decisions on his own.
Of course.
What they're saying when he hardened his heart, it just means he had no compassion. He had no care. So yeah, that was the stream, guys. Tomorrow night is going to be birthday stream. So tomorrow we're just going to have some fun and some chatting and stuff.
Okay.
So, Hopefully, Globies will bring some globe evidence. Make Flatzoid of Glober on his birthday. Come on.
You'd have to have some evidence in order to actually bring it.
Bring it.
Yeah, but that's true.
Oh, Greek guy 2,300 years ago. We've known. It is written down in an old book.
But at the same
Okay,
time,
where's this old book? Oh, I don't know.
look,
Sticks and shadows.
they claim those people did exist. They are historical figures. But yet, a lot of them decline that Christ existed. And the Christ is the most described ancient character person from the history, ancient
There's
history.
even more evidence for
rejecting those
Jesus than there
evidences.
is Julius Caesar.
Yeah. It's just make it make sense.
Yeah, think about it this way. There's more archaeological evidence that Jesus existed than Julius Caesar.
Yes. Or any of the so-called.
And I don't think anybody will doubt Julius Caesar existed, correct?
Right.
No, they won't be questioning that. No. Doesn't bother their conscience if Julius Caesar existed or not, does it? For some reason, they got a hang up with Jesus Christ. I don't get it. I really don't.
So what time is your stream, PJ?
Oh, 11:30 for me, so about an hour and a half away.
Okay.
Yeah, an hour and a half. Yeah.
Nice. And Sov, you had a stream last night, so I don't know if you're going to have a stream again.
Yeah, I'm going to do it again tonight, too. The guy's spraying crap in that place tomorrow, so we're not going to be at work.
I know it's Sov literally finished the same time as me. Like me, Roger was in mine. I was like, right, I'm finishing now. I want to quickly go over Sov, see what's being said. As soon as we could arrive at Sov, that was it. Shut down both Rumble and YouTube. It was like, for goodness sake.
He planned it like that.
Mm-hmm. And Roger, you going to have a show?
Yeah, about 11:45 tonight, my time.
So yeah.
It's going to be vegans rule. Well, I'm sitting here eating a tuna fish sandwich.
Don't eat Sean Hawkins, shame, poor guy.
I have somewhere great video, short one, about the vegans. The guy is speaking about how many animals they have to kill to have their tofu and the other stuff, you know.
It's a lot.
It's pretty well listed, you know.
Keep the squirrels away, all the insects away.
Exactly. That's the one. I just can't remember the title. Let me check it quickly.
But here's what doesn't make sense. Where are they getting all the meat from? You start running the logistics on that for how much cattle there is and the like on the earth and the amount that is served and sold. And then you start looking at the fact that you've never seen a brand new graveyard open up anywhere. You never see and there's people dying every day all over the earth. That people are dying every day. Lots and lots of bodies. What are they doing with them?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you think about that, when was the last time you saw, that, hey, look, they're opening up a new graveyard over there where that park used to be or where this lot was. Look, they've put a fence around it and everything. Oh, look, there's the first guy being buried in this new graveyard. You never see that.
Be careful now, Salt. You're going to be misrepresented as saying we're all cannibals.
Well, the movie Soylent Green, Soylent Green takes place in the year 2024.
Yeah, I've found one funny one, 47 seconds, but that's not the one I'm looking for. I will keep digging. You can watch this one very, very quickly.
Roger on these bongos.
Some of you just don't
I'm typing lightly, man.
So I have this set up right now for you guys to see. We have this really gross, it's like a beef, like dog food And then I have this delicious green salad. So I'm gonna bring her out and we're gonna see which one she likes. Also, my dog is very healthy. She loves greens. She loves her salad, and I don't force her to eat her salad. It's what she likes. Come here.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Well,
Okay,
yeah,
so
we'll see.
is
This happens.
Bonnie. She is
Uh-huh.
my little
Doesn't look like you're trying to force her.
Okay. Now.
I don't force her.
That was quick.
I don't force her.
Food, babe.
Here, pick one.
Pick one.
Nope.
Pick one. Just-
No, 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 no.
Did you see that? It's like, I don't force her. No. Just pick one. Pick
Yeah,
one.
pick one. Pick this one over here. The
Oh.
dog ain't wanting nothing to do with the lettuce. But give me that meat, bitch.
You can't cheat nature. You just can't.
Yeah, cheers,
You don't
guys.
even have to lay the two things out to know which one my dogs are going to go after. Of course, now Cece, the littlest one, she'll eat anything. We had the other night, we had some leftover steamed vegetables and shit from dinner. Nope, there she goes. Shut up! And, we put down carrots, and it was carrots and broccoli and oh my God, shut up! Everybody else started. There's nothing out there. But she was eating that. She ate that all up, cleaned that whole little bowl up. It was just broccoli, carrots, and cauliflower.
You got a strange
Eat
dog.
anything.
dog.
The other dog,
That's
well,
what
the other
Minnie
dogs
does.
didn't seem to be jealous about it. That's for sure.
That's what Minnie does. She barks at nothing. She scares the crap out of me. It's quiet, then all of a sudden she just barks.
Oh my God, she'll be sitting right next to me and pull that shit, and she goes off like a bottle rocket, man. And it's just like you jump right out of your skin.
You do.
She just, I can't believe something so little can be that loud. Look how little she is. Come here, Cece. Come here. Come on up here. And Daddy's like, come on up here with Daddy. Look at this. That's all the bigger she is. Oh, I know. I know. Yes, you're a good dog.
Poor little
Thank
Cece.
you for protecting our house. Thank you. Yeah.
All right, Grandpa.
Okay. Well, guys, I think we're going to end the stream, yeah? Appreciate you all guys coming in, and I think it was a great show. I hope to see you guys all tomorrow night for the birthday stream.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
Many, many blessings, and see you guys all tomorrow.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Good night,